Alright guys, I am so excited for today. Those of you who know me know that I have been a very enthusiastic Windows user and Android user. I'd have died on the hill a few years ago that I would never move to Apple. But here I am. I always said that if you've not tasted a particular food, you wouldn't know that it tastes good or not. And it's the same for tech. I used to bash Apple, but I'd never used Apple before. So, a year and a half ago, I decided to try and test the waters. I moved my phone to an iPhone and I also bought a Mac and decided to use it full time for 1.5 years. So, this review is going to be from an Android fan's perspective on using Apple products for a year and a half. And I must say, this video is actually going to annoy a lot of Apple users. It's going to piss off Android users and Windows users. But we all know that the truth hits. And I'm glad this video is going to piss off everybody equally, because then you know you're saying something right. So, without further ado, I'm Michelle Manuel, and welcome to Tech It. So before I start, there are 3 disclaimers I must put across before the video starts. Number 1, I had really high expectations moving to the Apple ecosystem. And that's because Apple fans are very noisy and they always talk about how good it is, you know, how everything works together, whatever. So coming from an Android user's perspective, my perception of what my experience is supposed to be was exceptionally high. And so this informed the experience I had throughout. I was leaving no room for mediocrity. Number 2, my experience on the other side from Android and Windows was also very, very top tier. I mostly used just flagship phones. My first phone was an HTC. My second phone was a Pixel XL when it came out, the very first Pixel. And then my third phone was the OnePlus 7 Pro, which won MKBHD Smartphone Award in the particular year it was released. So yes, my experience from Android is not your typical experience, because I always went in from the best that Android had to offer. Alright, so let's get right into it. I want to talk about the good first, because to be fair, right, when I moved to the ecosystem, I was not expecting a lot of good stuff from Apple, but the truth is that there were so many good things to talk about, and I'm glad I got to experience a lot of the good stuff. Number 1, the unboxing experience. Now, coming from Windows especially, anytime I got a laptop, it used to have those brown boxes. It was boring, but I was always excited because of the specs of the product I was getting. But this time, even though I knew the specs of the laptop I was getting, when I got it, the unboxing experience alone of the MacBook was exceptionally good. Like, Apple understands branding, you know. So, I mean, you know the quote that says that first impressions last. Like, I remember vividly how excited I was when I took it out of the box. Like, lifting up the top cover and the bottom cover falling down gently. And then lifting up the lid on the... it felt like a premium experience. There and then I felt like, okay, I've gotten my money's worth. And that first experience with your Apple product is, oh my gosh, I could ramble about it for so long. So Apple does exceptionally well with the packaging, and it gives you a very good impression of the product you're coming to use, which for me was absolutely amazing. I think the one reason why people mostly get iPhones is because of the camera, and I think this is an undisputed fact. People might say, oh, the camera can get... Look, I am saying it emphatically now that the iPhone has the best video camera in any smartphone, period. And it's not like even just this year. It has been the case for about 10 years now. Consistently, Apple's video camera is exceptionally better than any of the other brands. And this section of the video, as you can see, shot on the iPhone. I mean, a cardle of bumps, but it's still stable, especially when you pan. And as an example, there was once I was using the iPhone for a Zoom call. Before that, I was using an S24 Ultra. This iPhone is iPhone 12, right? The S24 Ultra is a newer version than the iPhone 12, right? But on a Zoom call, oh my gosh, the difference was so drastic. It was just embarrassing for any Samsung user in that meeting, because it was like, what happened? Did you change the phone? What phone? iPhone? And it was like, you know. But I think Apple has really done well in terms of making sure that their quality in terms of their video looks good. I think for pictures, all the other brands are just as good as Apple. Nowadays, Pixels and other brands have really done well in being able to render African skin tones just as well as the iPhone. But I think because people have come to appreciate the way iPhone looks over the years, they still trust it and they find it hard to switch from Apple. They've come to love the iPhone look. You know what I mean? Sun-kissed and all those things. So, yes, for video, for 10 years and going, I think Apple has been exceptionally good, and they are still leading the pack in terms of video, and it's not close. For photos, I think if you have enough light, it's just as good as the other brands. However, when the sun goes down a bit, I think the quality dropped significantly, and I think Pixels especially, they do way better in the night than iPhones, in my opinion and from my experience. So I think yeah, the camera experience on my iPhone for me was one of the high points. I love shooting video with it. I yeah, it's just amazing. One more thing that didn't surprise me so much, but I was actually impressed about, was the battery life. I used to think that the battery comparisons they used to do on YouTube were fake. But after using the iPhone for a bit, I realized that they weren't. And that's to say that it's very, very good. In fact, when I got mine, right, I used to get shocked at the fact that I'll go a whole day and I'm going to sleep and I'm still using it at night and it's not dead. And I only have to charge it overnight. That was insane for me because coming from my Android phones, it used to die at the end of the day, which was still good. But this was something that was completely different for me. And I want to give Apple props for that. Their battery is exceptionally good. And yeah, I think I can't cloud them anymore for that. So yeah. Face ID. I was actually quite surprised that Face ID was convenient. I think it's not perfect because there are sometimes I'll pick the phone and it's not registering my face. I'm like, bro, have I changed? But when it works, it works. Just that it's not as consistent as I would like it to be. So I still think fingerprint sensor is a better alternative to Face ID for now. But when Face ID works, it works and it's excellent and it's very convenient. So I like it, but I think it can be better. I think my favorite part of using the iPhone was how well it's integrated with my laptop. And it was when it got to this point I understood why people love the Apple ecosystem so much. Because when I copy something on my phone and immediately I can paste on my laptop. When I have a call on my phone and it's far away, I'm charging it and I'm on my laptop, I don't need to get up and go and pick it. I can just pick it up with a call on my laptop and I talk to the person. So underrated. And I think till you get it, you don't know how sweet that is. Like, it's something that, bro, I don't miss from Android and Windows because that compatibility is not there. When somebody visits me and they want to log into my password, my Wi-Fi password, and they try to log in, I can see it on my phone and I can share my password with them or ignore it. And these are the little things. Like, when it works in tandem with the other devices in the ecosystem, then I feel like, oh, okay, I get it. But using it alone, it was okay, but it was just as good as the other phones. But altogether, it was just little thing. AirDrop. I know talking about AirDrop right now feels a little bit old, but look, if you're coming from Android, you appreciate it a lot. Obviously, that WhatsApp is there, all those things are there, but sometimes you don't have data. Sometimes there's no internet access. You just want to send it, and AirDrop is there available for you. So the ecosystem features, that's how I'll call it, is one of the things that awesome. So yeah, I have talked about my good. Now it's getting to the exciting part. Obviously, it's sad that talking about the negative stuff of the iPhone is more exciting than positives. But we all know that negative stuff sells. Unfortunately for me, I think that a lot of the negative things I wrote, it was a very long script. But after I started using the phone and now there have been a lot of updates that have corrected and improved upon all those things, all those flaws that I saw. So it's not going to be as lengthy as I thought, but let's just go to it. Number one, I think that the phone app on the iPhone is the most terrible app ever created. Look, you can come for me, but I'll explain. Now tell me why. When I'm typing a number, it waits for me to finish typing the entire number before it tells me that Koku is the one I'm calling. If I have the whole number in my head and I can type it out on my phone, why do I need to tell you to tell me who it is? I already know who it is. That's why I typed out the number. You need to suggest the number as I am typing it. Look, the older generation, it looks like they used to know a lot of phone numbers in their head, which is great. But there's some numbers that they wouldn't know the phone number. They would just know about the first 4 or first 5. But then they'll type the first 4 and then they'll ask me that, why am I not seeing the person's name being suggested? And I'm like, bro, I don't even know. Because suggest it. It's not that deep, but unfortunately I can't even rant about this anymore because they fixed it in the latest iOS update. And I was looking forward to ranting longer about this, but they've corrected it. And it's quite annoying that this is a very simple feature they could have added, but they wouldn't. Yes, also, when you see this, what comes to mind? Or when you see this, what comes to mind? something you can, a text box, you can text something inside, you can paste something inside, right? Now tell me why when I copy something on my laptop, a number or a name on my laptop or from somewhere, and I come to the phone app, I don't know where to paste it. Now I know iPhone users come to me and say that just paste it in the empty space. But this is a simple UX problem. When you see a cursor, then you know you can paste something. If there's no cursor and there's empty space, how would I know that I should paste it? For like 4 months, I was there. I didn't know I could paste numbers on iPhone. It's absolutely insane. Like, simple things. Like, it's so frustrating when they do all in the very elaborate stuff, like how the phone feels and all those things. And the very basic, simple things, like quality of life improvements, you have to complain about it. Like, actually, what kind of frustration is this? Simple UX thing. Put a cursor there or put a text box. Let the user know that, oh, this is a text field. I can put something inside. Another thing about the phone app. Again, this is also mind-boggling. I have never faced it in Android before. When I save somebody's number as 0244, right? And the person calls me and it comes as +233. Am I the one supposed to tell you the phone that 233 and 0244, the rest of the numbers is the same person? So, Charlie, like, gosh. See, when I was on Android, I saved somebody's number as +233 and the person calls with a 0244. It comes with the name I've saved it. Why do I need to save the number twice as 0244 and +233 before I recognize that same person? Oh, Charlie. Like, look, it's a smartphone for a reason, man. Oh, man. It's the little things. The very big things, the very, expensive things, they're able to do it awesome. But like, some little things that it's just frustrating, especially if I'm coming from my phone that it just works. And what's funny is that Apple has a motto that it just works. It just works. Really? I mean, let's be serious, guys. And you see, look, if you're an Apple user in the background, I know you'll probably be filming, but you know this is true. Like, you know in your heart this is true. Gosh. Anyway. Yeah. So I actually do think that the phone app on the iPhone is the most terrible app ever made. Like, they've corrected one thing, right? But there are a lot of other things they can correct. They should just do it. Like, it's not that deep. Fix it. It's not that deep. Like the next iOS, don't wait for a whole generational update. Don't wait for iOS 20 before you correct. This is something very simple. Fix it. I also keep getting this notification that FaceTime and something cannot be accessed. Like, I'll put it on the screen. And I don't know whether it's because I'm using a double SIM, but I've gone to the settings and specified that FaceTime and iMessage should use my email and this particular phone number. And every single time I'll go back and it's trying to forward the secondary phone number to use FaceTime and iMessage. And look, the pop-up comes like 50 times a day. I'm not even joking. I don't think it's unique to me. I think other people have it as well. Anybody who has tried to use a double SIM and has iMessage on the phone and a laptop, I am sure somebody there has experienced it before. Again, why? It's so frustrating. Like, I'm doing something and all of a sudden a pop-up comes. Like, it makes you feel like I have Bluetooth on my phone. Meanwhile, this is just a simple setting. I go to the settings and specify that do this and do this and do this. And you are sitting in your company thinking that you know the best for me and suggesting to me every day that should I allow it on a secondary number? Like, like what? Apple. You see, when you enjoy the things that make it great and you see some of these little things that annoy you, then you wonder, like, why? Like, you look, another thing, alarm volume. Now, again, if you're coming from an Android, right, and you set your alarm on the alarms app and you adjust the alarm volume, it has a separate alarm volume from the call volume, right? So when you set the alarm, you can put the alarm volume high and put the call volume low. It's a very simple thing and it makes sense because sometimes when I'm sleeping, I don't want to be annoyed by calls, but maybe I want my alarms to come through. When I'm setting my alarm, please give me the option to just set my alarm volume high. It doesn't have to be tied to the call volume. You get it? It's simple. You get it? It's not that deep. Like, just do it in such a way that when you open the alarms app, then you have that option. Outside the alarms app, you don't have that option. It's a simple fix. Like, I don't want to be woken up by somebody's call before my alarm. It's frustrating. Like, just fix it. So yes, those are my frustrations for the iPhone. I think this went on longer than usual. Again, to be fair, the things I like about it, I really, really like them. But the reason why it seems like I'm just complaining a lot is because the things I don't like about them, they are very petty, tiny, tiny little things that are just frustrating, especially when you have that convenience back in the Android world. It's just, no, like, I believe they'll fix a lot of them, right? Because they've shown that they listen by, making some of these updates, but they're taking their time too much. I know they can do it all in the next update, but they wouldn't. They release iOS 20, and then now some of these things can be fixed. Like, bro. Now let's go to my favorite part of my Apple experience, the MacBook. I got the M1 Pro, MacBook Pro M1 Pro. And look, let me just go forth and say that this is the best piece of purchase I have made in my life, period. This laptop is exceptional. I don't have any real bad thing to say about the hardware, like, at all. Like, I really, really, really love the laptop. Like, they've really built it, Ankasa. Like, the speakers. I already knew there's some things that I already envied about the MacBook before I went into it. Because anytime I enter a room and somebody uses a MacBook and they're playing music, I could tell that it was a MacBook because the speaker had some heft to it. You could feel the bass, unlike a lot of other Windows laptops. And to date, I can pick a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old MacBook laptop that will beat 90% of the Windows laptop speakers. It's insane. It's not even close. I wanted to buy a Bluetooth speaker when I got my MacBook that same year, but it's been 1.5 years and I don't feel the need to buy it. That's how good the speakers are. The display is awesome. Again, for the display, I think on Windows laptops, you can get a lot of equally good displays, right? But every single MacBook has a good display, but not every single Windows laptop has a good display. So no matter your budgets, if you want to get a MacBook, the display is going to be good. It will going to be a little bit above average. But on the Windows side, bro, there's some trashy, like there's some displays that are just not terrible viewing angles. A lot of things about it is terrible. But for MacBooks, the display is excellent. I am so glad I never going to join the butterfly keyboard era, because that thing was garbage. Oh my gosh. You're typing on it and then you get crumbs on your laptop. It was complete garbage. I'm glad I got to join when it was the proper keyboard layout. It looks nice. It feels nice. The speakers are great. Yeah, the MacBook is, in terms of hardware, chef's kiss. Everything about it is good. The ports, oh, Charlie, I complained about it for a long time, but now there's an HDMI, full-size HDMI port in it. There's an SD card, and there are multiple USB-C ports, and that's all I need. And I'm glad I can have all those ports when I need them, because I'm a creator. HDMI is something I often use. SD card, full-size SD card reader is something I use every single day, and I'm glad that all those ports are there. Before I even finish this, let me talk about the performance of the MacBook. Now, I can't believe I forgot about it. I knew that the MacBook's performance was excellent because I knew it in theory. I studied it. I have a whole paper written about it. In fact, my statistics project that I was trying to predict the future of computing in terms of like the architecture that's used to build the chips. And we figured out that around 2020 to 2021, laptops will start to transition to ARM architecture instead of the x86. It felt very awesome. And so I knew the theory about how good the MacBook was. But bro, look, there's some things that you can know in your head, but you need to experience it for yourself. Now, I don't have patience for gadgets, and that's because of my MacBook. Like, the whole time I was using my Mac, I'm not even exaggerating. I think I've seen the loading screen twice. And I think an app has crashed just about once or so, or twice or so. And that's because I was using a cracked version of the app. Like, that's how good the performance is. And look, anybody who wants to do video editing, I think the MacBook is for you. Especially, I think you should, if you want to pay for the apps and get the proper versions of the apps, I think a MacBook is excellent. Video editors, photo editors, because you will not get a better screen. You might not get a better screen than the MacBook. Speakers are better on the MacBook. You can use it without headphones. Still, you need the headphones to become an ideal scenario, but it's just a multimedia powerhouse. And the performance is something that once you go, you get to it and you can't leave it. And the battery, oh my gosh, the battery of the MacBook is except when I moved to MacBook, I didn't used to understand. I thought it was a bug. I'll use it for 3 days and I won't charge it. How does that make sense? 3 days, and I can go out and then not pick my charger. Do you know how insane that was to me? Like, I was so dumbfounded. I was like, no way. No way the battery is that good. Now it has deteriorated a little bit, obviously, because I use it often. And I've already talked about the fact that as you use any device that has a battery, the battery will deteriorate over time. The capacity as towards in the brand new phone box is not the same as now, right? But when it was brand new for the first 3 months, my gosh, it was so good. It was wow. And I could get full again, that's the beauty of ARM architecture. I used to get full performance on battery. When you're using Windows, to get your full performance, you have to plug it in because it takes the power directly. When you want to maximize the chip's performance, you have to plug it in and charge it while you're using it because it draws that power from the wall to be able to boost the chip to its maximum performance capability. But on Mac, it's not like that. You can get your full maximum capacity on battery power. Do you know how awesome that is? Like, bro, as you can see, I'm getting hyped. It was chef's kiss. It was so good in terms of performance and the efficiency of the chip. It made the battery so long lasting. It was amazing. I don't think I'll be able to move to Windows just because of that reason. If there's any reason I stick to Mac, unless Windows laptops get just as good. Otherwise, I can't go back to carrying my charger everywhere I go. I don't miss it. I don't want it. You know, MacBooks are just exceptionally good at that.
But let's continue with the things I don't like about the Mac.
Yes, multitasking. Now, look, again, it's always the simple things, as I said. Performance is excellent, but then you go and see that doing split screen on Mac is not as simple as it's supposed to be. When you buy a Windows laptop, Windows key, left. Then the tab automatically goes to the left. Windows key, right, it goes to the right. Tell me why I need to go and download a separate app. And not even that, I need to go and buy an app that allows me to do that shortcut simply. Oh, Charlie. What kind of, like some very simple things. You have to go and buy a whole app to do it. Multitasking. Don't tell me about Stage Manager. Stage Manager is trash. Like, I don't want to see icons on my left side. When I'm working on the window, I want to see the window full screen. I don't want to see some things on the left. No. Like, actually, look, the little things, that's what's frustrating about it. Like, allow me. I don't have to go and download an app for something as simple as, you know, automatically doing a simple shortcut and then getting my windows to stick to one side of the wall and getting another window to stick to another side of the wall. It's not rocket science. Windows have done it for years. Also, in JHS, when you're in school and they teach you about, and this one was quite exciting for me when I found out. It was annoyingly exciting. But when you go to JHS and you're learning about Windows and all those things, when you click on the control center of the Windows, when you click on the minimize, that's what it minimizes. And also maximize, it makes it bigger. For Windows users, do you know that there are 2 minimize buttons on the Mac? Yeah. The X button does not quit the app. No, it minimizes it. And before any Mac user comes for me, it is true. When you click on the X button, it doesn't quit the app. It just closes it. Closing in this sense means it just brings it down. So when you click on the icon again on the bottom, it resumes where you left it off. That is not quitting an app. That's not closing an app. And that's the same action minimize does. So why do I have 2 buttons on the control center doing the exact same thing? Again, the simple things, like very basic things. This is simple UX. This is not, again, look, it looks like I'm somebody in Africa just complaining about, a product. But look, Windows has done it for years. If it was something that had not been done before, you can come and say that, oh yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting out somewhere complaining. But I know it's possible. They know it's possible. You have a button for minimize. The close button shouldn't minimize it. Do you know you have to go and download an app? There's an app that you can download that will make that possible. Why do I need to download an app for such a simple task? I think the app itself is not free. Oh man. The MacBook is such a lovely product. And those little annoyances just sometimes make the when you get 99% in exams, it's painful than getting 85%, and that's because you're so close to the feeling of perfection that the little that is left to make it perfect, maybe it was just a full stop or just a decimal point you missed. That's how it feels like. This product is almost perfect, and then they just eliminate some simple things that can be fixed through software. Charlie, Apple can be annoying, man. Like, Apple can so annoying. The final thing I don't like about the MacBook is the charger. Now, don't come for me. I think MagSafe is excellent. MagSafe has made me less anxious about my charger breaking because now I don't have to even look. I can just plug it in and just put it in. My problem is not with the cable itself or the port itself. It's with the power brick. Now, I think every Apple user will agree with me, right? How flimsy the brick, especially the pins, are. Everybody who has bought one of those bricks or even the phone, the 3-pin brick, the one that flips out like, that one. Everybody knows how flimsy it is. After a few months of using it, then, you know what I mean? What? First off, you remove the charging brick from the box for the new iPhones, right? The least you can do is make sure that the bricks that you buy from Amazon, the bricks that you buy from them, they work well. Why? The MacBook, like, I don't know whether it's the structural integrity of it or something. Already, when in Ghana, in the UK sockets, fixing it in is extremely hard. But after I do it for like a couple of months, then it's no longer, it's becoming flimsy. And Mac users, please, if you be honest with me, tell me the truth. You know that the charging bricks are terrible. Say it. It won't kill you to say the truth. Say it, accept it in the comment. I don't want to hear it in the comment section that, no. It's a well-known problem. But because you guys will lick Apple's brains, you will never say the truth. It's terrible. Gosh. Anyway, so as close to perfect a product the MacBook is, it's not perfect, right? And for me, those are some of the little things that annoy me about the MacBook. But again, the things that make the MacBook, the things that make using the products great is the fact that I have a call on my phone, then I'm on my laptop, and I can pick the call and talk. I don't have to get up and pick my phone. Oh, Charlie, I have an iMessage. I get a message on my laptop or my phone, and I'm with my laptop. I'm working. I don't have to get my phone. I don't have to get distracted. I can just reply the message on my laptop. Again, beautiful thing. The seamless integration. This is why Apple users make noise. No, and I get it. I get that integration. When they say it just works, I think that's what they mean by it just works. So you have to either go all in or forget about going in at all. Because if you're going into Apple ecosystem, go all in. That's when you really get to feel part of the family, Yes, so my concluding thoughts about moving to the ecosystem, I think I understand why people make a lot of noise about the Apple ecosystem. And I think to some extent it's justified, especially those who are using all the gadgets. But Kweku from Kaswa will buy just an iPhone and he's using some HP laptop, which is 10 years old, and is making noise on social media that Samsung users, wait, bro, you don't have any rights. You don't have any right to complain. You don't have any right to slander any Android user. Because the phone you're using, especially for the iPhone itself, the iPhone as a standalone device is just as good as the top tier Android phones. And I need to be clear on that. Every single iPhone is just as good as the top tier Android phones. But not every Android phone is as good as any iPhone, right? And that's intentional. And I think that is one thing that people need to understand. If you've ever moved from a Apple to a very top tier Samsung device, you would know that, wow, Samsung screens, the fluidity now because of the 120 Hz. Like a lot of things about the flagship Android phones are just as the cameras. The cameras of Android phones are now good though. It's unfortunate that the app developers don't optimize their apps for the Android cameras because it's like the app developers and stuff discriminate, and it's just sad. At least they should try for the flagship Android phones. If you won't do it for every Android phone, I understand. But for the flagship, the least you can do is to make sure it's optimized for it. I mean, they always say that Android devices are a lot and they can't optimize it for every phone, right? But the truth is that there are only a few top tier Android devices around. You have the Pixels, you have the Samsungs, you have the OnePluses. What again? LG is dead. Xiaomi is a bit Chinese. If you like, because it's Chinese, so let's say that the ones that are available in the US market, those 3 phones, they released the iPhone, they released a regular iPhone, the iPhone Plus, the iPhone Pro, and the iPhone Pro Max. That's 4 phones, and you can optimize it for all 4. Yes, I know that some of them, they have the same camera, but these 3 phones, there's 3 flagship phones for Samsung. The least they can do is to optimize it for them. It's not that deep. So, I think that aspect from Apple, it's something that is enjoyable. But overall, I think that for me, my experience with Apple, if you really want to get the most out of the Apple experience, you need to go all in. Get everything Apple. Get your Apple Watch, get your iPad, get your MacBook, get your iPhone. And I think from that, you get the full experience and you see why Apple is Apple. However, if you're just getting one product, especially if you're getting just the iPhone, I don't think, like, for instance, if you have the very latest Android device, I don't think it's worth the change. And the only thing that I think you can use as a standalone that works very well is the MacBook and maybe the iPad, depending on your use case scenario. But the iPhone, Apple Watch, AirPods are standalone devices. Nope. I think it's not great, right? So for me, the key takeaway from my experience is that the tech you buy should conform to your lifestyle. Your lifestyle shouldn't conform to the tech that you buy. Does that make sense? So whatever tech you buy is meant to complement your life. You shouldn't have to, change your life's routine and your lifestyle to fit the tech you buy. And that when that happens, the tech is controlling you and you don't want that case. So look at your lifestyle. Look at what you prioritize the most. I mentioned a lot of benefits of moving to Apple. The battery life, the luxury feeling of the product, the way it is built, how everything works well together, that convenience of everything working well together and communicating with each other. If you prioritize these things, if these things are things that you already have in your lifestyle and you want it to extend to your tech life, just move to Apple. I think you wouldn't get to anywhere else. However, if your lifestyle has to do with extreme customization, if your lifestyle has to do with, some things that were mentioned that are not in Apple's pros, but they're in their cons, then I think you should just find a tech that suits your lifestyle. I'm Michelle Manuel, and this has been my experience of moving to Apple. And look, as I said, I have made sure everybody has taken some. I think I was a little bit hard on Apple, but the truth is that I've really enjoyed my experience. For the MacBook, I don't think I'm moving from it. And even for the iPhone, just because of how well they work together, I think even if I get an Android, I will use it alongside the Apple device. So yeah, it's been a very long video, but I am excited that after 1.5 years, I've been able to share my experience from switching to the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Apple M1 Pro MacBook Pro laptop. It's been a wonderful experience, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me hear in the comment section, what do you guys have to say about the experience I had? I know some people are going to hate me for it. I know some people are going to love me for it. But I just said the truth. And the truth shall set you free. I'm Michelle Manuel, and I'll see you next time.